What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Raw review, this time for November 21st, 1994. Let's get right into it. Raw starts off with Razor Ramon making his way to the ring for a match against Big Daddy Cool Diesel, but gets attacked by the Teamsters, the team that is going to be taking on Razor's team at Survivor Series, that being Jeff Jarrett, Owen Hart, Jim Neidhart, Shawn Michaels, and Diesel. Backstage, officials come out to separate them and they go to commercial. When we come back, we see Vince and Cornette in front of a green screen explaining what just happened and that we might not see this match tonight, that being Diesel and Razor Ramon. So moving on, Tatanka comes out with DiBiase. He's taking on a jobber, but it's Chris Canyon. Either way, he's still a jobber in this era, so Tatanka hits the Samoan drop for the win. Next up, we get another jobber match. Adam Bomb this time picking up a win with his pump handle slam. Then we see some footage of the WWF video game. We are to believe that Cornette is taking on Vince in the gameplay that we see. Yeah, okay, Vince knows what a video game is. I ain't buying that for 1 second. Next, we see the recap of the feud between Jerry Lawler and Doink the Clown. And speaking of the King, we get another King's Court. Lawler has his royal family with him. Lawler asks Queasy what he would do to Dink, and as he's telling him, Dink is shown coming from under the ring and shoots a water gun into the four guys in the ring. Jerry doesn't see him at first, and they do it again until all the clowns come out and shoot them with water guns. And that is the last thing that we see to get hyped for their match at Survivor Series. I remember, I don't know what episode this was, that I said, like, at least back in the day, they were still building stars, and it's a lot better than the storylines were a little bit better than what we're seeing now. But this just reminded me of that stupid Miz and John Morrison, that spray thing. What is it called? The dripstick. But again, you got to remember this is one of the eras that is known or that is said to be one of the worst eras in the WWE in their history. And it was the early to mid 90s, right before the Attitude Era, basically, or right before Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart had their little rivalry. I guess it's not all that much better than it is today, but still, a 1 hour show was a lot more digestible than a 3 hour show. And at least we still have Razor Ramon, Diesel, Shawn Michaels, those type of guys on the show, Bret Hart. At least there was still some star power and guys being built up for future The Undertaker as well. It's not. At least we knew there was a future ahead. Unlike now, we don't know what we're gonna get next Monday, let alone in 2 years. So, getting back to this episode, we see another vignette from IRS. Back at the cemetery, he continued his investigation from last week. Some guy didn't pay his taxes, so he repossessed the guy's resting place, meaning his casket and the plot in the cemetery, and he places a sign that reads Property of IRS. So that puts the nail in the coffin, so to speak. For sure, we're going to be getting an IRS or the $1 Million Corporation taking on The Undertaker after Survivor Series, or you know what, they might be at Survivor Series. This leads to IRS coming out for a jobber match, but it's Matt Hardy. But still, Irwin gets the win with a clothesline. And look at that, two jobbers that actually became names in the business, Matt Hardy and Chris Kanyon from earlier. The Survivor Series update is next. We see some extra promos from Bob Backlund for his match against Bret Hart, and from The Undertaker, who is taking on Yokozuna. Not much else they can add to build for their match, just your average promo from the two of them. After that, Diesel and his team come back to take on Razor Ramon. With 11 minutes left, so finally a real main event match on Raw. Razor's team also joins him for this match. Razor runs in the ring and starts cleaning house. Diesel eventually able to recover and gets Razor in the sleeper hold, which leads to a back suplex from Razor, and now it's anybody's match to win. Shawn Michaels interferes by grabbing the leg, and there's a standoff between both teams on the outside. Shawn does a lot of interfering from the outside. Diesel sets up for the jackknife, but Razor flips him over. A couple of right hands followed by a body slam, but Jarrett is brought into the ring by Razor. Then Owen Hart climbs to the top and gets sent into Diesel by Razor. Then everybody gets in the ring and the match ends with a no finish. What a wonderful way to end it. Like, I understand that they don't want to hand either of these two a loss right before the pay-per-view, but then at that point, just don't have the match. Just don't do it. I'd rather just watch 5 extra minutes of teams cutting promos or a jobber match if you're just going to be doing matches where there is no real winner. So the way that that show ended, that's going to make me give this show a bad grade. Nothing really matters at the end of it. Since the only belt being defended is the WWF title, the rest of the matches feel unimportant. And the main WWF title feud wasn't even featured that much. They just had a little promo, like I mentioned, with the Survivor Series update. Maybe this was all that was needed in 1994 for people to get excited to watch this show. I don't know. Let me know. if you were watching at the time, how did you get hyped for these pay-per-views? Was it watching Monday Night Raw? Was it watching another show? Or were you just hyped in general because it was something to watch? But anyways, that's it for the review. I'll be back obviously after Survivor Series. No review for that one, but maybe I'll open up a Patreon and I'll do reviews for pay-per-views. Maybe down the line, I don't know. And some current wrestling pay-per-views or reviews for maybe AEW, NXT, something like that. Actually, NXT, as of recording this is like August, so you guys are like really into the future with this one when it's coming out. But this is August 2021. NXT is basically ruined, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do other NXT like 2012 through 2019 reviews for NXT. I don't know. But yeah, maybe I'll think about it. But for now, I'm out. I'll catch you guys on the next review.